Symone.
Yes.
I honestly am genuinely excited to talk to you and to hear more about your story, because the only time we've ever caught up is sitting at a cafe and talking about what you wanted to do in media.
Yeah, and you stole that pastry and didn't pay for it, I remember.
They gave me two.
Yeah, I'm not going to deny two pastries.
You didn't want the other one, so I was going to take it. But how are you?
I'm good.
How are you?
I'm really good. I just came back from America. I was reporting for New Balance. It was really good and exciting opportunity for me. Came back, got the vid, got inflamed lungs, so I've just been out of training, which was kind of difficult for me because I'm very much like a routine kind of girl. But yeah, I just put that energy in reading books, napping. I'm literally a grandma. I do nothing. Like, if you tell me what do I do for fun, I'm like, napping. That's what I like to do for fun.
I love this. Look at the personality. Honestly, we've got such amazing personalities, and you're one of them. We want to know more about you, like we want to go deeper into your story. So tell us more about yourself. What was your upbringing like?
So my upbringing, I was born into, my mum and dad are full Samoan. So I was born in a traditional Samoan household. We went to church every Sunday. I was really brought up in a loving family, supportive family. Both my mum and dad, they just wanted the best for my sister and I. I have an elder sister. Her name's Latoya. Me and her are totally super close, even though there is an 8 years gap between me and her. But yeah, so basically my mum and dad, they grew up with nothing. So their goal in life was to give me and my sister everything that they didn't have. And I think that's quite common with PI families, They migrated over and what they want to do is just like give the best to their children. And my mum and dad, like, they sacrificed everything. Sometimes my parents went out, like didn't go with groceries just so that they can afford to pay for my training stuff. And now since I'm older, like, I understand how much of like the financial strain is. So all they wanted in life for me was to be happy, and in order to pay them back, they just said they wanted me to get a degree. So I did that last year, and they're like, okay, that's our job done, go like do you. So, oh my God, we just started, I'm already crying.
It's okay, honestly, take your time. Like, we don't have to rush through any of this.
Yeah.
Was it hard growing up? Like, did you know that your parents were struggling?
No, they hid that from me. And in a way, I was kind of grateful, because for me, I'm a very sensitive person, and I think just seeing that, if they did expose that to me, I would feel super guilty, and I would be like, no, I don't want to do this anymore. So yeah, they hid that from me. Sometimes my sister would be like, hey, just letting you know, like, we didn't go with groceries today because Mum and Dad wanted you to go down and compete in this area. And like, just from the outside perspective, like, I know there's a lot of people that like say like, oh, you're spoiled and all that stuff, but I agree, I'm spoiled because I'm spoiled with love and support, and I know some kids don't get that. So yeah, my parents, like, so gangster. I freaking love them. Every Saturday I'm with them, like, watching rugby and all that stuff. Like, yeah, my parents, like, mean the world to me.
How old were you when you realised what the sacrifices that they were making for you to be a New Zealand champion?
Probably just recently. I think because I was going through a lot of adversity with my mental health. My mom and dad were like, wanted to protect me from that financial strain. So now that they know I'm in like a better headspace, they're like, just letting you know, like, this and this and this, we can't afford this, are you able to pay for it yourself? So I'm like, yeah, of course, like, I have a job now, so I can do that. I help out where I can, my sister helps out when I can. So yeah, they've told me recently, and I really admire, and like, I'm super grateful, obviously, about that.
And how are your mum and dad now?
Oh, they're super cool. Like, they're like really happy and proud of like how far I've come, and I think that's all I've ever wanted, was to obviously make my parents proud. I think that's very common with like children in general. Like, everything we do it for our parents, but they never put pressure on me. But back when I was younger, I thought it was pressure, but looking back now, I was just like, they just wanted the best for me. I mean, they really put their all, because they're hardworking. And that's something that I have picked up. And like now I know facing the world as an adult and also just a female in general, like it's so freaking hard out there, and I totally understand now. And so yeah, they're just super happy, and they're like, as long as you're happy, we're happy, bro. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm good.
You know how you talked about pressure? Like
Yeah.
You thought it was pressure.
Yeah.
Do you remember like what age you were, what you were doing at the time, and how it felt?
Yeah, so I was like, I think I was like 16, 15. Like, I think one event that I experienced was like New Zealand track and field school champs. And like, I knew I could have won the 200 meters because like the fastest girl, still is the fastest girl, Zoe Hobbs, she was injured. So she put out the 200 meters and like, that was my race back then. But I was like, so pressured, like everyone around me were like, you can win this, you can win this. And for me, like, I just crumbled. And yeah, my parents were like, what happened? And for me, like back then, the reason why they were upset, they weren't disappointed, like, because now, like I said, they sacrificed like groceries and paying bills just to like travel with me to come down and support me. And it's just like, for them, it's just like, we knew you could have done it. Like, we didn't go with groceries like this week. Like, you know, back then I didn't know that. So back then I thought it was pressure, but now I know it wasn't pressure at all. It's just like, they sacrificed to come down and watch me, and they knew that what I was capable of. They knew what I was capable of, and I didn't perform. So yeah, that was like probably one of like big pressure, quotation mark, experience that I experienced when I was younger.
I said this to you the other day, but even more so now when I'm talking to you, I just think you're so brave for talking about this, because I imagine that there's going to be so many young girls and boys that watch this, that families are in the same situations as your mum and dad were,
Yeah.
and this is just going to help them so much. Let's talk about the good times when you succeed. What is that feeling like? Do you remember, like, what's the greatest feeling you felt in sport?
I think the most biggest achievement for me personally, like I represented New Zealand as a relay member in 2016, but that wasn't my biggest achievement. My biggest achievement on the track was placing third last year. I was ranked third fastest woman in New Zealand, and for me, I always knew I was capable of it. My coach knew I was capable of it, my parents, my mental health coach, my friends, but it was actually just being able to do it. I just remember like the heats, I felt great. The finals, I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna place third. Like I was visualizing that race months and months and months prior to I got onto the final start line. So I already knew in my head I won. And that was definitely a big mental shift, because before I used to like beat myself down and be like, oh, you're probably not gonna place anywhere. And the thing is, if you have convinced yourself in your mind that you're not gonna win, then you're not gonna win when you physically do the sport. So being amongst supportive people, people who were just like, would tell me daily, you can do this. That was like my affirmations for me. So I'd start like saying it out loud, like, I can be top 3 in New Zealand. And then it went from I can be top 3 to I'm gonna be top 3 in New Zealand. And just saying that over and over again, visualizing my race. And then when I crossed that line in the finals and they said, in third place, Symone, I like broke down crying, because it wasn't just about that third place. It was like the whole journey to get there. Like I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety, severe depression and anxiety in 2018. So I would always miss competitions. My seasons would be cut short because I was injured, wasn't doing mentally well. Because I wasn't doing mentally well, those injuries came upon me. You know, I just wasn't in a good headspace to like really give it my all. So hearing that over the speaker, that was just like, I'm gonna swear, I was like, fuck yeah, I did it. And I was like, I knew you could do it. But yeah, it was just like a more appreciative feeling, knowing that I was capable of that. And then that kind of set the foundation. It was like, okay, you can place top 3 in New Zealand. What else can we do? So yeah, that was like one of my biggest. And still to this day, highest achievement for now. Still got big goals, but yeah, that feeling will always remain with me.
I hope you're proud of yourself.
I'm learning to be proud of myself. I'm a very hard person. I think it's because I always want to be the best for myself. But yeah, I'm learning to be like just happy and grateful, just even like minor things, like waking up in the morning. Like I never used to want to wake up in the morning. Like that's one big thing that I'm just like, I can't even, like, I'm such a smiley and like outgoing person. The fact that I didn't even want to wake up in the morning, like, it was crazy, because that girl, I don't even remember what she was like, but I do know that I'm grateful for her because she taught me a lot of lessons and resilience and strength that I wouldn't be capable of now.
So if that was the highs, one of, that feeling that you felt when you crossed the finish line, when you heard your name across the speaker, you've just been third. You just placed third in New Zealand on 100 metres. Like, that is not easy.
No.
You know how competitive it is.
Yeah.
How hard people work for that.
Yeah.
That feeling, what was the lowest feeling in the sport? Do you remember what it felt like?
The lowest lows was I just like decided, I was like, I'm done with life. I was super suicidal. And I just like gave up. And I was like, I don't want to be here anymore. I had so many people rooting for me, but I didn't want to root for myself. So yeah, that was the longest, that was the lowest. I think last year was like the first year I didn't have any suicidal thoughts, and that was like the hugest win for me off the track. I mean, you know, being an athlete and having all these achievements are so cool, but like, you can do the training and everything, right? Whether you're on the field, whether you are on the court, but what you do off the field, off the track, that's like the most important thing. And so for me, I knew that in order for me to be a successful athlete, just a successful person in general, I had to put in the work. I had to go to therapy. When I went to therapy, reflect over those notes, do all the strategies that my therapist wanted me to do. And yeah, I'm still doing this to this day because I love my family and I'm still learning to love me.
You can take a breath.
Okay.
I imagine that's really hard for you, and it's heartwarming hearing the end, but it's heartbreaking hearing the start of that story.
Yeah, but I think for like, everyone has different traumas, everyone has different adversities, but what I've learned through therapy and like the self-help books that I'm reading is like, you have a choice. It's your responsibility how you respond to the situation. And for me, I always kept victimizing myself. I was like, this sucks. I don't want to do anything. Why am I so sad? And I would just play victim the whole time. But it wasn't until I started going to my mental health coach, David Neath, he's like, you need to flip the script. Yes, you went through all this stuff. Yes, it was shit. But it's your responsibility and how you respond to the situation. And he was like, and this is why you came to me and this is what we're going to do. And like, ever since then, I'm just like, yeah, you're right. Yes, I went through shit. Yes, there's a lot of people that go through shit. But you can only control what you can control. And for me, that was like how I respond to stabilizing my mental health, my emotions, how I react to situations, what that puts me in depressive moods or gives me anxiety. And that comes with like maturity as well and growth. And I'm still navigating through that. I just want to make that clear. Like, it's not an easy journey and it's tiring. It's so tiring trying to work on your mental health. But if you care enough about yourself and if you want to be, what's the word? I wouldn't say successful, but like if you just want to be content and proud of yourself, it's so worth it. Because now I'm like starting to realize just like these minor things, like I said, waking up in the morning. I'm just like, fuck yeah, I woke up in the morning, like let's do it. 2 years ago, I would have been like, I don't want to be alive. And just seeing that mental shift, I'm just like so grateful and appreciative with that. So So yeah, that was my little story.
You're such an inspiration, honestly. You're so inspiring. Like, sharing that is, I just can't put it into words. You know?
But yeah, I wouldn't have shared it if I wasn't comfortable with it. And because I've worked through my trauma and still working through my trauma, I just know, like, if I'm talking about this, hopefully it resonates with at least one person or two, and hopefully it makes them feel comfortable to, you know, start opening up and wanting to work on their mental health. I'll be super grateful for that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, why do you want to speak out? Why do you want other people to hear, you know, these are the darkest days of your life, and you want to share these with people?
I want to share because it should be a normal thing to share. I do know there's a lot of stigma around mental health. I think in life we're not taught about mental health, but we're also not taught how to prevent it from the start. Like even just through school, like the educational system, there's nothing to guide us, the young ones, into adult life. There's no tools that they can prepare themselves about like what anxiety looks like, what anxiety attack looks like, how to deal in social situations where you feel anxiety. And I just want, like, those situations should be a regular topic to talk about. Like how you talk about how was your day should be like, how is your mental health today? That should be a normal thing. And for me, I actively go out of my way when I'm in a good mental health space to check up on each of my friends. I'll be like, how's your mental health doing? And like for them to come back and be like, I'm so thankful that you asked me this. Like it shouldn't be like that. It should be like, my mental health is doing great, or my mental health is not doing good. Cool. Do you want to talk about it? Like, that's a huge thing that I want to like continue, because like I said, it should be a normal thing.
I just want to be your friend.
You are my friend.
Everyone needs a friend like
What do you mean?
All need to look at you and honestly do what you do.
You are my friend.
You're so young and you've already figured this out, you know. I mean, I asked you, I hope you're proud of what you've achieved in sport, but then I hear what you've been through. I hope you're proud of that.
Yeah. Like I said,
off the track.
Yeah, I'm definitely learning how to be proud of myself. I think for me, like going to America and experiencing like being like a sports reporter over there, I was so proud in terms of like I worked my ass off to make sure that I was in a good mental health space with my therapist, with my family before I left, because I knew I was like, this is like one of like the biggest achievements so far in my career off track. So I want to give them the best Simi that I possibly could. And I knew I did that. So like having that feeling was just like, wow. So this is what it feels like to be proud of yourself. And I was just like so shocked. And I actually like did a video about it and posted it up on my Instagram. And I was just like, if I just knew how to like be proud of myself, I would do this more often. Like, I don't know what it is, but I'm like never proud of myself. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that resonate with that. They're probably like always like chasing the next feeling of like the next goal or like the next medal, the next championship. But like, I remember reading the self-help book and it was like, in order for you to be grateful and proud of yourself, you need to take a step back and just like see where you are. And just seeing where you are right now in your journey, that should be enough. And I was like sitting outside the Airbnb in America and I was just like, wow, you're so right. Just being in the spot, just being alive, first of all, just being in America in general, just having this career around me, having loving people around me, I'm so fucking grateful. And that was enough for me in that moment, and it still will be enough. So like the day I die.
You honestly like make my heart feel all warm and fuzzy. But you know this to me. Like this infectious smile person, literally like this is the person that I first met, and I never would have known what was going on behind the scenes. When people see you on the start line at a race, like I've seen photos and you've got the smile on your face.
Yeah.
You seem so happy, like you have no cares in the world. What do you think people that don't know you, like what do you think they think of you?
First of all, I'm like a huge people pleaser. I'm working on it with my therapist, so I used to really care about what people used to think about me. Like I've learned that like not everyone's gonna like me, and I'm okay with that. I've actually seen a lot of people starting to do like the smiley face, and just seeing other athletes doing it in general. They were like, we knew there was a meaning behind it, but we didn't actually know what it was. But what we saw, when we saw you having the smiley face and we saw the results that you were producing on and off the track, we were like, oh, we want to try it and see like what it does for me. And like, so the whole smiley face came about from my therapist, because he was like, you are a very smiley person. And he's like, you perform best when you're relaxed and you're happy. So he's like, just, well, how about you just write like, you know, smile and have like 3 or 2 words on it underneath to be like, to remind you to like relax, be calm, you have the best intentions, just let go of the outcome. And then I was just like, that's so true. So I started writing smile. It's like definitely like a smile here. And usually I write like 2 or 3 words. I'll be like, relax, be calm, go for it. It differs like every race or just like any situations where I know I'm going to be facing a lot of anxieties. But I always have smile. And that just reminds me like, you perform best when you're happy. And my coach, James Mortimer, he's the greatest. He's like, a happy Simi is a fast Simi. So I use that same mindset on track and off track. And it's so true. I definitely know that when I'm calm, I perform my best in front of the camera, when I'm doing my journalism, when I'm racing, when I'm at training, I perform way better with a smile. And yeah, I think that's one thing I would like people to remember me of being like smiley Simi, or just know that Simi with a smile. Yeah.
I think we're going to see a lot more of the smiles.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Simi smile.
Yeah, it's like definitely a signature thing, like no nose, no nothing, just 2 eyes and a smiley face, all right? Otherwise, I'm coming for you. It's copyright. You'll be hearing from my lawyer. No.
Okay, I only have a couple more questions. Who is Simi behind the jersey?
That's a really great question. I'm still trying to navigate that. I think Simi right now, Simi's still trying to find herself. But Simi's strong. Simi is fucking strong. She's resilient, she's hardworking, and she's loving. And she's not only loving to her friends and family and her friends, she's also loving to herself, for herself. And that's like a big thing for me. I used to hate myself for God knows what reason. I used to freaking hate myself, but she loves herself. She's still learning self-love. But yeah, I'm Simi that smiles as well. Pacific culture, we're like built on strength, you know? We're built on putting our head down. Yeah, putting our head down, no complaining. If you're stressed, if you're worried, if you're sad, doesn't matter. Put your head down and work. And I think that's another reason why I want to talk, is because I know I have a lot of Pacific Islander brothers and sisters who don't have the courage to do that, who don't have that same support system that I was blessed with. And like, even if they were like, wanted to reach out with me on DMs or like just talk to me, like even just starting that conversation about their mental health is a big step in itself. And I think for me, like even just, I know like a lot of my Pacific brothers, like they were brought up in this culture where like, you're not allowed to cry, you're not allowed to show any emotions because you're like the man of the house, you're like the man of the family. You need to be strong for your sisters, you need to be strong for your like, you know, your other brothers. And like, I don't want to like tread on like other people's toes or anything, but I totally feel like if you are not okay, then that's okay. And it's so important that you talk about it, because I know for me, from my experience, I held in these suicidal thoughts, these depressive thoughts for 1 year that I knew of, and I broke. And I don't want any of my brothers and sisters to go through what I went through. But if you are going through that, just wanted to let you know, like, it's okay. You're allowed to, it's very valid for you to feel like this. There's a lot of pressures being a Pacific Islander person in general, a lot of pressure in the sporting world, the media, your friends, your families. But what you're going through is totally normal and it's totally okay. And like, I totally understand and I get it. Life is fucking hard. It is. And I feel like there's a lot of, like for the non-athletes or the people that are watching, you know, other sports people, they put them on pedestals and they forget they're humans. You know, like athletes go through every other daily shit that non-athletes go through. And I think that people need to remember that. And also athletes need to remind themselves, like, I'm also human. What I'm going through is okay and it's normal. And like, just reaching out to the resources that you're provided with, hopefully you're provided with. But I mean, even just having that conversation to someone that you trust is still a big step. And I'm proud of you if you do.
I mean, you've shared so many important messages, like so many important messages. And I think that you've given so many people hope. Last thing from me, and I think I know the answer to this, but I just want to know why. Everyone has their reason why. Why do you do everything that you do? Why are you a 100-metre sprinter? Why are you a journalist? Why do you do what you do?
Because that shit makes me happy. And for me, I always used to chase happiness, but I didn't realise the happiness was with me this whole time. And for me, you know, still maturing and still learning and navigating through learning what's happiness, learning to be appreciative and grateful for those things. Just, I do what I do because A, I want to, B, I can do it, and 3, that shit makes me happy. So why would I want to do something that doesn't make me happy? I already experienced what it feels to not be happy, didn't like it, absolutely cancelled, not doing that again. So I'm still young. I don't want to waste the rest of my life doing shit that like doesn't give me, you know, happy feelings. So yeah, I do what I want because I know at the end of the day I get to go to bed and wake up and be like, get to do it again. Fuck yeah, let's go.
Well, I tell you what, you make me bloody happy. Can I have a big hug?
Of course.
Be proud of yourself. Oh my God. The most amazing human being.
No, honestly. You are too.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, I'm not just saying that. You're actually the most amazing person.